Right now we have Jason LaBaw with us today. How are you, Jason?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you for joining us. And so obviously want to jump in and just hear more about you. So please just tell us about who you are and what that you do.
Yeah, I run a digital agency called Bonsai Media. Uh, Founded in 2009. We help companies build websites and apps and then market them online using SEO and pay-per-click advertising. And we've also built our own product called Social Bee. That's an augmented reality product. You can think of it as, Pokemon Go meets TripAdvisor. So it's a really fun project. But most importantly, I'm a father to a 16-month-old
Oh,
and a
congrats.
husband. So yeah, just running that entrepreneurial life along with being trying to be a good husband and a good dad. So,
And how's your sleep schedule going?
my sleep, my little guy he's on a routine. My wife has got him dialed in, so
Good.
that's good. I'm getting plenty of sleep, which
Good.
is
Glad
helpful.
to
Yeah.
hear it. So I'm definitely curious from having Bonsai Media Group, how did this now new project, like you said, Social Bee Agency, how did that come from what you already do? Where how did that journey go?
Yeah, great question. So I think one of the interesting things as an agency is you constantly have companies coming to you with problems like, hey, we need to drive more business, or hey, we want to engage our customer base, and you're always coming up with creative solutions. And so back when, I would say probably 8 years ago, a client came to us to do uh, a contest, where you just answer questions, and we were like, oh, that's kind of cool, let's make it socially engaged. And then that kind of spun into this social contest platform where one fateful Saturday, as I like to tell the story, I was doing customer service, helping some people get logged in and that kind of stuff. And two of the people said something that really struck me. One of them said, this is such a cool experience. And the other said, this is such a fun adventure for my family, because kind of the way we had these social contests set up is they're kind of like scavenger hunts where you would
Okay.
check in at a taco time or check in at this hotel. And that's really for me when the light bulb went off was, oh, wow, like contests are, so, for companies are cool, I guess. But, if I woke up and every day my, mission in life was to help people have adventures and to use technology to help people do that, that would be a really fulfilling life. And so that's when I kind of pivoted that endeavor.
Okay.
Um, and then, about 5 years ago, started working on it. So when it does blow up and everybody says it's an overnight success, I'm gonna beg to differ. But it really came from just understanding kind of the market need, and then listening to the feedback from customers, and then a lot of it has been trusting the gut and taking a risk, for sure. It's been a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort put into it, but like I said, it's something I'm really passionate about. So
Wonderful. And I can tell it's something that just kind of struck you and you kind of went for it. And so I want you to definitely discuss this, kind of share with our listeners how important it is that even if you are in a successful business, you have something that's going really well, how important it is to still, have your eyes and ears open for the next opportunity to kind of have that next step in your career. If you could talk about that a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. It's actually been a real personal challenge for me, and I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, as we get the initial kind of launch of our initial business, right? It's uncomfortable, but it's exciting, it's new, it's all those things. And then once it kind of solidifies and it becomes that consistent source of revenue and profit and such, it becomes really easy to become complacent and scared to make deviations from what we know works. And then we kind of end up like every other old business, And so, and I'd be lying to you if I told you that all through this journey that I've been, exuberant with confidence that this was going to be successful. Like I've had, I mean, it hasn't even launched yet. So, I mean, there's still time.
Great.
No, but I think one thing that I've learned in life is, in those points when I'm feeling uncomfortable as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a
Mhm.
salesperson, or whatever it is to kind of tap into that. Because oftentimes there's gold there. And it's, there's this saying, you have to be willing to do what others won't to have what others can't.
Mhm.
And I know that other people are having similar ideas. I mean, there's too many people on this little planet to
Right. For you
not,
to
right?
only
And
one.
so,
Hmm.
right. And so it's like, okay, and they're likely uncomfortable too. And
Right.
we're all forced with this decision of what do we do with that uncomfort. Do we lean into it and explore it, or do we kind of shun it and shy away? And so um I think just in my experience, it's been recognizing those moments and then um taking the plunge.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And like you said, I really resonate with that where it's like we're all uncomfortable in some way. There's always something that sounds scary. And when you take that leap, it's usually going to be the most rewarding option rather than you never got to know because you let fear kind of keep you from playing the game.
exactly, yeah. I mean, there's the Jordan quote, you miss every shot you don't take.
Hmm.
There's just so many of those. And so I'm also like big into this book called the 5 a.m. Club.
Okay.
And just about feeding and nurturing yourself as an entrepreneur, because if you're not getting hit by employees, you're getting hit by customers, you're
Mhm.
getting hit by press, whether good or bad. Your time is your most scarce resource.
Yes.
So making the time as an entrepreneur to arm myself with inspirational quotes or just messaging or a positive mental state has been incredibly important.
Awesome. And so now switching back to Bonsai Media Group, how do you
Yeah.
continue to create fresh opportunities to best serve your customers?
Great question. So bonsai is really interesting because the kind of the wisdom of our modern world is to niche and to really specialize.
Hmm.
So it's in the agency world, it would be to just be known as a Facebook advertising agency, or just be known as a this or a that. And where we've really come together as a group of designers, developers, marketers, systems administrators, data scientists, all these different pieces and
Hmm.
parts, right? And we apply those to the problems that we encounter. And it's really, I mean, social B is a byproduct of that. And there have been others in the past where it's problem comes in, it kind of goes through the bonsai machine and comes out the other side. A product that can be that we market to the target market, and the product is built with that target market in mind. And so, as we're uh, evaluating opportunities for our clients and prospects who are coming to us with problems, especially in this kind of COVID world that we live in now, really for us, it's about doing a lot of discovery, really
Hmm.
understanding where the pain points are, going that extra mile. You know, we try to, as much as possible, walk a mile in our prospect shoe. So try to
Okay.
understand, and just a silly example, but a fun one is we had a Butter London nail polish, nail lacquer client. So a world I knew nothing about. So for a solid, couple months as we were in the process of winning that account, and we did, I was getting manis and petties and just
Yes.
learning that world. Yeah. So I mean, it's really just, you know, like COVID recently, it's been a lot of setting clients up with, whether it's like Thinkific, like a learning management system to kind of transition their offering from a traditional in-person offering to more of an online offering. Working with an art gallery right now to where we're coming in with what's called a Matterport 3D camera to make that art exhibit viewable for somebody sitting at home so that they can see the
That's
art and
cool.
get an idea. Yeah, and then making it interactive and to where they can click and buy stuff too from their e-commerce. So it's, been a lot of setting up Shopify websites
Hmm.
and just all sorts of
Fun stuff. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of customers too can kind of feel that when you have been in their shoes and you've kind of gone through it yourself as well, to show it's like, okay, we're not just giving you something that by a textbook or by data works really well. It's like we've actually lived it and we're trying, like I said, make it interactive in a way that does connect to sort of the human part of us. It's not just about, like I said, different analytics and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think what you hit on there is, the human
Mhm.
aspect, I think often gets forgotten in
Right.
business. We call prospects, but they're not prospects, they're people. They're
Right.
humans. We call them users. They're not users, they're
Hmm.
humans. And I think that's, and even in design, we call it human-centered design. And I think something that really needs to be bolstered is kind of a compassionate design philosophy, or the way that we build software. Because I consider myself a technophile, and so everything should be easy. Oh, you just click this and do that,
Hmm.
and then I hand the phone to my dad, and not a chance, right?
Right.
So having some compassion to understand that people are coming into things at all different levels,
Hmm.
and building our solutions so that they can kind of handle the customer wherever they're at in their journey.
Right. And I think it's working. So the compassion to always try to see eye to eye with someone, not ever looking down on them, making them feel inferior or anything like that. I think that's really important for business people because I think we lose touch of that sometimes.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, obviously we did talk about social media agency, but where do you see Bonsai Media Group going within the next few years? What is your plan to kind of make that vision happen?
Yeah. So, ultimately my BHAG, if you're familiar with it, big, hairy, audacious goal is to be a prominent agency on the West Coast, really kind of focused on West Coast brands,
Okay.
to have about 1,000 employees, and really that being made up more of um, staffing and recruiting. Like right now, we're all project and solution based.
Okay.
But where I really see a disconnect in the market from currently, the staffing and recruiting firms, is that they don't have the expertise to assess digital marketers and developers necessarily, although they're getting pretty good at that. And that's where I see our ability to create the dojo, as I'm calling it, which is a place where we can teach and train digital marketers, get them certified, and then help get them placed. Um, Really being a big opportunity for us. So
Wonderful.
that's kind of the long-term vision. And, over the next 3 to 5 years, it's really about, building the revenues and the book of business to where, we've got the cash flow to make all those other dreams happen.
Mhm.
The beautiful thing about Bonsai is that it's, we've got about a little over a half a mil in like just hard costs into social
Mm.
B. So, you put that into comparison to what a client might pay for that service, and
Right.
it's probably about 4x that.
It's
And
exciting.
so, yeah, well, and so it's cool that Bonsai's been able to make that possible. And so, I think as social B grows, Bonsai will also grow, because companies will need help getting set up on social B and all that. So.
Absolutely. So, for any of our listeners who do want to kind of follow along with both of those journeys, or just possibly even want to work with you or do that, where should our listeners go for more information?
Yeah. So, if you have a company that's looking to drive more leads, drive more business, Bonsai Media Group is really the spot. BonsaiMediaGroup.com, and Bonsai is Bonsai. And then on the social B side, if you're interested in augmented reality or tourism, or really how technology can transform the way that tourism happens, please check us out. Social B with 2 E's, so BEE.me, socialb.me, is where our website is. And right now it's the coming soon. We're slated to launch in March.
Oh, yay.
So yeah, it's been a long road to get to this point. And it's, you know, always right before you launch anything, there's tons of little things to be done, but we're getting there. So it's exciting.
Wonderful. Jason LaBaw, thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck as well with your launch and your continued success too with Bonsai Media Group.
Thank you, Gabby. Thanks for having me on.